All right, first we're going to remove the AMS. So what we're going to do is unplug the power and data cable, the 6 pins, by pressing down back here and pulling out. And then on the back of the AMS, what you want to do to get this PTFE tube out is there's this release button up above. So you'll press that in and pull the tube out. And now you have complete access to the AMS as it sits right now. We'll cut to the next thing where we open this up and take it apart. All right, so once you have the AMS removed from your printer, you'll want to go through and remove the filament. Just press forward a bit and take out the filament. And you'll want to remove all 4 spools before you continue going any further. All right, starting out, you want to make sure you get your tools. These 2 Allen wrenches should have come with the printer. And then the first thing we're going to do is actually remove these 2 rollers here in the center back. So what I just did there was use this end as leverage and to lift this up, this bearing mechanism. And I want to do the same thing here. So try and do this one-handed. Of course, it's not going to work on that side. Let's try this one-handed. And then you remove these 2. And what this does is open up room to get to these 2 screws. Before we get to these 2 screws, we are going to remove this roller here from the AMS haul or location of interest, if this is the one that you want to replace or operate on. So again, to remove that, create some leverage, pull this out. This one's a little bit different, a little bit smaller, but it does have a gear that slides in with the haul, and that's very important later when you put this back together. While you're up here removing these 2 screws and this roller, you can go ahead and remove this PTFE tube here. So again, this has like a little pressure knob, so you press that back and pull the tube out. As you see, these should not be able to be pulled out unless you push this pressure point inward, which releases the grasp on the tube. Put it back in, just reverse it, and there you go. Okay, once you've got those 2 screws unscrewed and removed, lift this up just enough to slide it back a bit. It's stuck on the front there. And then you'll want to get in behind here to remove these 2 cables. On the front here, on both cables, we'll have a little press down release mechanism. You lift up on that and pull that out. I do that for both sides. So this one and this one. Try not to pull on the wires themselves, try to pull on the connector, and then you have this removed. All right, so once you have this separated from your AMS case, this is the frame, I believe they call it. This one's the AMS2, so it might have some extra hardware than the AMS1, but you want to locate the hull that you're looking to disassemble or replace. Underneath here, there are going to be 2 screws that you need to remove. I believe they're using the smaller Allen wrench, and those are located behind the wires here. This location, let's see if you can kind of see that there, and then there's another one over here behind this rat's nest right there. Before you take out those screws, I probably should have said this first, I do recommend taking out this cable connection here. This is a press down, so you'll press down, and probably recommend using your finger. Try to Do that evenly without breaking any of the wires. I think I managed to do that okay. And then when you put that back in, you want to make sure that this press down button. All right, once you've removed those two screws holding this in place on the bottom, you'll want to take this forward and pull out, as it's got a little lip here that fits in this slot. All right, one thing I forgot to mention before taking these two pieces apart is removing this screw here in addition to the two on this side. So you remove this guy, this one, and this final fourth one before detaching this wire and splitting the smoky part from the gray part. All right, once you have the AMS haul, is what they call it. This is a haul. Once you have this part off, you'll want to look underneath here, and to get this gray cover off, you're going to need to loosen up and remove this screw right about here. And then once you remove this screw, you'll be able to remove this top assembly, which will come with this PTFE feeder part. One thing I recommend before you undo this screw is to remove this power and signal cable going to this part of the mechanism. This is attached from this point to the motor on this PCB. You'll want to remove that so it makes it easier once you undo this screw. So again, use the tool that you've been given through the purchase of the printer and possibly the AMS. I don't recall it coming with the AMS, but with the printer, you should get 2 of these Allen wrenches, and you'll just go through and attach that. Let's see. Of course, I skipped the step where you detach this guy. So you got to pinch it on the one side, and then you detach that wire. Come in here and start to remove this screw. Takes a few turns. All right, I think that's enough here. See if I can break this loose. See that screw off. All right, so when taking this top assembly apart, it is very important that you be very careful. See, it looks like I did skip, looks like I did take out these 2 screws earlier. So let me take a moment to take a step back. You'll have 2 screws on the sides of this case, just like this one. So before you get to this point, you'll end up having to unscrew one here and one here as well when you want to take off this gray cap. To take those apart, you can now detach this assembly. When you detach this assembly, there will be a spring located just below this PTFE tube feeder that is meant to help bounce back when you push this backwards when you release the material. I'm not going to take apart this part. It just kind of pops off like a hinge this way. The reason I'm not going to take it off is because I've already almost lost that spring. Again, this procedure we're doing here is very, very technical and requires a clean space, which I kind of have, and a lot of time, which I kind of have. So anyway, Put this back together. Again, make sure when you have this off, line up that spring, and then you may have to work it in when you attach this back on. And you want to make sure that the entire gray lip here is consumed by this smoky plastic. And then you'll start putting the parts back together. Go ahead and do this one underneath. Again, we're looking for this guy. Get it nice and snug, not too tight. All right, then we'll come back to these two that I forgot to show you to take out. Oh, forgot these were magnetic. All right, this unit is almost back assembled. I almost forgot to assemble the wiring harness here. It's nice and tiny. All right, I think that's in there okay.